The BBC could have made a powerful statement for free speech and common sense by backing Lineker from the beginning. Instead, it's become, well, a spectacular own goal. Well, joining me now is the leader of the True and Fair Party, Gina Miller, and Reform UK leader and Talk TV presenter Richard Tice. I'm also joined by chief football writer of The Times, Henry Winter. Let me start with you, Henry. Always a voice of common sense, the enemy of hysteria as all around lose their heads. What's your overview of where we've washed up on Lineker Gate?
Well, I think that the broader perspective is that we should be able to have grown-up conversations in this country. And if the government and the BBC bosses are convinced that a sports presenter articulating a tweet, not a terribly toxic one, I didn't agree with his language on the 30s, but, you know, he's an intelligent individual, he's travelled the world. His experience is quite capable of coming out with a reasoned argument. He's not presenting the 10 o'clock news, so there was no issue with impartiality. But I think we've seen the best of the BBC and the worst of the BBC. The best of the BBC, as you're alluding to, is the support of Shearer, Wright and so many other people for Ian Wright. And this is what Tim Davie, and this is the worst of the BBC, is the naivety and arrogance and entitlement of the bosses upstairs. How out of touch. I mean, I've talked to so many BBC staff over the weekend, sports staff over the weekend, who said the management just so out of touch. You can't do that in any business, yours, mine, certainly not at the BBC. So I think Tim Davie's been brought back from America, he's been brought back down to earth. He's been reminded that there is this collective spirit in his sports department. So they've come out of it incredibly well. But management really have got to learn some basic skills.
Yeah, I mean, and the most extraordinary aspect of this is you would normally expect the chairman of the BBC to be getting involved, expressing an opinion. But he can't, because he's under investigation for, wait for it, a lack of impartiality over both his donation to the Conservative Party of £400,000 and helping Boris Johnson facilitate an £800,000 loan. When you've got the chairman of the BBC silenced in a scandal like this because of his own lack of impartiality, as many see it, that really, to me, Henry, sums up just what a farce it's been.
I agree. I mean, Piers, we're football fans, we're used to dealing with VAR as farce, and this is VAR tenfold. There's clearly an inconsistency in the guidelines on impartiality, and at the end of the day, to use a footballing cliche, Lineker is a sports presenter. He wasn't doing it on Match of the Day, he wasn't doing it on a news channel, he wasn't doing it on a news programme. And again, we're a grown-up country. We should be able to have grown-up debates. And if the government and the BBC are scared of a sports presenter voicing an opinion, which some people believe in, and they believe in his principles, on his own private social media account, then either they need to look at those guidelines for freelancers within the BBC or just grow up.